Hi everyone, my name is Shauna and I'm the host of the Adelaide Cottage podcast, mostly about knitting and sewing and hand dyeing yarn. So welcome to those of you who are returning viewers, and welcome to those of you who are checking out my podcast for the very first time. Definitely subscribe if you like it, that way you will get a little notification whenever a new episode is posted. So you can find me on Ravelry and on Instagram as Adelaide Cottage. And also on Ravelry, there's a group called Adelaide Cottage for those of you who want to join for chatter about the episodes and show notes and things like that. So I hope you are all having a lovely Monday and had a lovely weekend. Let's see, what did we do this last weekend? The last time we talked, I was getting ready for a big doctor's appointment in New York City. I'm coming to you from Buffalo, New York. So we had to go to New York City for a doctor's appointment, and that turned out very well. We got really great results from the testing I had done, so thank you to all of you who wished me luck and supported me through that scary time. So it turned out well, and I'm so thankful. My family and I were all very, very happy. So my husband's on vacation this week, and we have a sick 8-year-old right now. He has strep throat, so he didn't sleep much last night. So we're just going to be snuggling and knitting today. But I wanted to squeeze in a podcast because later in the week we're supposed to go away for a couple of days to an indoor water park in Ohio. So that will be fun. But yeah, the weekend before Valentine's Day, my husband surprised me and took me on a little overnight surprise day. We went ice skating outdoors down near Buffalo's canal side, and it was more of him pulling me on ice skates because I don't have good balance as it is since my surgery. So that was interesting, but it was a lot of fun. I loved ice skating when I was little, so it was fun to get back out there. And then we went to dinner at a really nice restaurant, and we went to a movie, and then we stayed overnight in a hotel. So it was kind of like a congratulations present from him for getting really good test results, and somewhat of a Valentine's present. We usually don't exchange Valentine's gifts, but that was really nice. So that's what I've been up to since I chatted with you last, but let's get on to some knitting. So I'll talk about knitting, and then I will talk about new and noteworthy, which is acquisitions, if I have any, and some mentions to other podcasters and podcasts I've been watching and things I want to mention about them. And then I'll talk about sewing. So today I am drinking, what is this? Vanilla chai tea with a little bit of milk in it, and it's really yummy. And I have it in this adorable tea mug. Happiness is homemade. I really like that one. Vanilla chai, and it's decaf too, so you can have it at nighttime. Okay, whips. I have 4 whips, but no finished objects, but I feel like I got a lot of knitting done this week, which is exciting. I was dyeing a lot of yarn, which I'll show you later, and a lot of sewing for my Etsy shop, which is also called Adelaide Cottage, and that's where I sell a lot of my handmade items, like project bags, hand-dyed yarn, stitch markers, things like that. So the first work in progress is a hat that I saw on the Fluffy Fibers podcast with Isabel. If you haven't already, I encourage you to check out her podcast. She is such a sweetheart. I talked about her on the last episode because she said really nice things about me and my podcast on her episode. So, but she showed this hat on hers that she was knitting for her daughter, and let me see. It's the DMC Top This hat kit. And I bought it on Amazon for only like $8 and free shipping. So it's acrylic yarn, which I've never knit with, to be honest with you. I started right with, real fibers, natural fibers. But I thought it would be really cute. The hat I made for my son last year is getting too small on him, and he loves puppy dogs. So I picked out this one, and it's got a little puppy dog on the top of it. And it's browns, whites, taupes, ivory, and there's even a little bit of textured section in the yarn. So you get one ball of the yarn, and then you get a fun little topper for the hat. Isn't he cute? He's going to love this. He hasn't even seen this yet because he would have wanted to play with it while I was knitting, and we would have been missing the dog for the top of it. But let's see. So this calls for, what size needles? I made the adult small size, so you can make toddler or adult small, but I want it to fit him next year, so I made the adult small, and I'll probably just decrease a little bit sooner at the top of the hat. But they call for a US size 9 needle on a 16-inch circular, and I'm using an 8, a US size 8. And this is what I have done so far. And I really like it. You can see the color changes there. And then this is really fuzzy. And I'm using my Knit Picks wooden needles, the Sunstruck circulars, which I really like, but mixing these wooden needles with acrylic yarn is not the greatest of experiences. But I'm enjoying seeing the color change in here. I don't enjoy the yarn, but he will be happy with that. It's about halfway done, so I'm sure if I sat down for just one day and worked on it, I would be able to get it done. But it's thick acrylic yarn on wooden needles. Okay, so that's that one. That's for my 2.5-year-old. The second work in progress, I want to talk a little bit about, I'm sorry, I keep looking down because I have, my show notes are over here and all my bags are over here. So last time I mentioned I was casting on a pair of Hope socks in a yarn by the Wool Barn, in a colorway that reminded me of the cancer ribbon for spinal cord cancer and ovarian cancer combined. So I cast those on during my trip to New York City for my test last week, and I got pretty far on them. And I mentioned in an earlier episode how intimidated I was to knit a heel. I was okay with the heel flap, but doing the heel turn is what scared me for some reason. I don't know why. I was just afraid I'd screw it up really bad and I wouldn't know how to rip it back with all the short rows and things like that. So I would knit. I've tried like 2 or 3 socks before, and I would stop after the heel flap and just, I don't know what my problem was, but I don't know. I did it, and it's not nearly as difficult as I thought it would be. So the pattern that I used is the Blueberry Waffle Socks pattern, which is free on Ravelry, many of you know. Molly of A Homespun House recommended this pattern to me because it's kind of a simple one for a beginner sock knitter, and it's really a fun pattern to knit, and I have to agree with her. So I believe this is the Wool Barn Soft Blue colorway, but it's tweed. Really, really pretty. And my first sock that I actually attempted to knit a heel. Yay! Okay, so I have this really weird out of place purl row right here. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's there, and I noticed it when I was like right about here, but I just wanted to get through the heel. I didn't care what anything else looked like, to be honest with you. I just wanted to know that I would be able to do it. So I got through it. I do have a little hole on this side, which I can probably seam up later, but this side doesn't have it. So I don't know what I did on this side that I didn't do on the other side, but yeah, I'm very excited to have a first sock done. I will be so, so happy. It's fun. It's obvious from watching other knitters and podcasters how fun socks are once you get the hang of it. And up here too with the ribbing, that was another mistake. This is supposed to line up with this textured pattern, but I screwed it up. But it's okay. They're for me. It's my first real sock, so it's not going to be perfect. I'm knitting these on Carbon's US. It's 2.25 millimeter. I think it's a US size 1. These needles, they don't keep their writing on them. It doesn't really matter, does it? But yes, it is the soft blue colorway by the Wool Barn. I just love Maya of the Wool Barn. She's so talented. But hopefully I'll get these done in the next couple of days. At least the first sock. Definitely the second one before I chat with you again. The third thing I was working on is my Cozy Memories blanket, which is not quite a blanket yet. It's just about 5 squares, but I'm getting there. So this I keep in my lovely A Homespun House tote bag. It was one of her Cozy Memories kits that she had available. And then I did 1 square since I chatted with you last. So here it is. It's a speckly yarn from A Homespun House. I have to check with her on the colorway. These minis came in a kit from her with the bag. And there's like 3 speckled ones in there, and I don't want to say something and have it wrong and get it mixed up, but it's really pretty. Purples, blues, greens, pinks. Very, very pretty. So, yay! Making progress. And these I'm using my Carbon straight needles in a US size 2. Lots of fun to use them. And I'm still journaling my way through in my cute little Cozy Memories blanket journal book. So for those of you who didn't watch previous episodes, I just take a little piece of yarn from each square and write where the yarn's from, who gave it to me, etc., etc. So I'm just starting it. And I'm actually putting together items for a giveaway, and one of those journals will be included. It'll kind of be a Cozy Memories themed giveaway, I think. One of those scrapbook type albums and a few other goodies. So I'm trying to think of how to work the contest, but that will be really fun. So there's that. And then I cast on a new project recently, and it is the Waiting for Rain shawl. I think last time I mentioned that I wanted to cast it on, but I did it the following day, I think. So this is a pattern by Sylvia Bobilvia on Ravelry. Very, very pretty, and I really wanted to do the gray, but I didn't have any gray yarn in that quantity, so I was tempted to dye some up for myself to do this, but I figured I was hoarding some more Wool Barn yarn, and I thought it would be really nice to use. So I have used this Roses and Honey colorway. Which is really, really pretty. That wasn't supposed to happen. That's hard to see. There you go. So there's like specks of reds, pinks, and like really light honey browns. So that's Roses and Honey. And this is the progress I've made so far. Okay, so there it is. I think this is going to be really pretty. I have one of my little sheep progress keepers on there. And I learned a new stitch, actually. I can't say too much about it because it's a paid pattern, but this is all garter stitch for the most part, this area. Actually it is, except the edging here. So it's hard to tell right side from wrong side because they both look the same. So I have my stitch marker on here to remind me what side is the right side. But the increases in this shawl happen very rapidly with this stitch that's in the pattern. It's a knit yarn over knit, so a KYOK. And it's basically, like I said, it just increases rapidly. So you're turning one stitch into 1, 2, 3 stitches, I think. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to knit. There's different parts, so if you look closely at the picture, it's garter stitch separated by lace. So there's different parts in the pattern. And Meredith of the Wool Gathering Collective podcast kindly suggested to me, gave me a really good tip to use stitch markers for each different part so that you don't get them mixed up. So I think I'll understand what she means more once I get to that part in the pattern, but the repeats that I'm doing now are very memorizable, so it's a nice relaxing knit for, I don't want to say mindless knitting. I mean, you have to think about it, but it's not going to be like the lace will be. So yeah, that's really fun to knit. I'm excited to see how it comes out. And actually, so I started this last week, I think, and I was watching the Yarngasm podcast with Kristen, and she's actually going to be hosting a knit-along with this shawl. And it's unfortunate that I already started knitting it because I would have loved to join just to knit along with other people. But that's okay. If you would like to knit this shawl, I recommend going to her Ravelry group page, and I don't know if she's got a thread posted yet, but I think she's planning it in her head how it will all work. So you can join her in knitting this shawl. She mentioned on her last podcast that she really wants to knit it, so that will be fun. I will definitely watch along and knit along, but not enter. So, and I'm using my US size 5 Carbons interchangeable circulars. I am really wanting to try Addy needles. Who recommended them? I think it was Chelsea of the new Legacy Knits podcast, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but she raves about them, and another podcaster mentioned them as well, and I'm just tempted to try them out. I definitely love the click of these needles and how warm they get when you're knitting with them, with the carbon. But I would definitely be willing to try something that doesn't have a break there at the join. So that's my shawl, and that's all my whips, people. I'm sorry. I have 4 whips, no finished objects. I do have some new and noteworthy things to talk about and some sewing. So if you're here just for knitting, I have some project bags to show you at the end of the episode, but those are all the projects I have for today. So Before I get into sewing, I want to talk about some podcasts that I've been watching that are slightly newer, just like mine is. I'm new. And I just want to say, I think it's wonderful that more and more people are podcasting now. I feel like there's a lack of knitting shops, at least where I live. There's one maybe 40 minutes away and very limited hours. And then the next one is another hour away from me. And everyone has busy lives, so it's not like even if it were closer, we'd be able to just go there and knit, on a normal basis. So I feel like podcasts are a great way to connect with other people that really enjoy the same thing that you enjoy, whether it be knitting or sewing or other crafts. So I've been really, really enjoying watching other people's podcasts, older podcasts and newer ones. I look forward to them, and whenever I see a notification, I get so excited. I love to get to know all of you and all the viewers with all the chatter and the threads and the messages I've received. I think I love it. I think it's wonderful. So without further ado, I just want to mention Legacy Knits with Chelsea and Sue. It's a mother-daughter. Chelsea's the daughter, Sue's the mother. And they will just brighten your day. They are so funny together. And they are really great knitters, and they have great taste in yarns and patterns. And they tend to kind of inspire each other to knit the same things, which is fun. Another one who, and also Sue and Chelsea mentioned me on their last podcast, so I just want to say thank you very much for mentioning me and saying nice things about me. That was really sweet. And then also the Wool Gathering Collective with Natasha and Meredith. That's another one that I enjoy so much, and Meredith mentioned me on a podcast a few weeks ago, so thank you very much. I appreciate you guys and your calm. It's just so relaxing to watch their podcast. Another new one who is a sweetheart is Katie from Inside Room 23. No, it's not Inside Room 23. It's just Inside 23. Oh my gosh. I'll put it in the down bar. I'm so sorry. But she is also Miss Lavelli. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But she is so sweet, and her podcast, she is so talented at knitting and sewing, and she's got some really fun twists to her episodes, so definitely check her out. Sticks Plus Twine, Eric of that podcast, thank you for the mention. I also enjoy watching him. I love that he's a male knitter. It's awesome. I wish my husband would knit, but it's so cool to see, from a male perspective, what knitting means to them and the choices in patterns and yarns and things like that. So it's lots of fun. So, yeah, I joined the Sew a Cute Dress Along, I think that's what it's called, with Fluffy Fibers, Isabella Fluffy Fibers podcast. And this will be my first garment that I'm sewing with the group. I haven't started yet because I was waiting for a pattern. Last time I showed you the pattern I wanted to use, which is the Dottie Angel frock. This is the one I wanted to use at first. It's Simplicity 1080, and I bought the fabric for it and everything, but Isabel mentioned that this is not really a great pattern for a beginner garment sewist. That the directions aren't extremely clear, and now that I look at it, I feel like it wouldn't be very flattering on me right now. I went to Plan B, and in her group there was somebody who posted this pattern, and it's the washi dress by Made by Ray. And here it is. So it's about a knee-length dress, I believe, but there's all different ways that you can customize it. It's not a cheap pattern. I think I paid, oh, there it is, $18 US, and only 2 retailers sell it. So Fancy Tiger Crafts sold it online and one other craft store, but it was cheaper to get it from Fancy Tiger Crafts. So I'm excited to start this. I'm hoping to start it this week. I believe the sew along runs through March 20th, rings a bell for some reason. But I'm excited, and I know that if I have any issues, Isabel will be happy to help. She's been helping everybody. So if you're thinking about sewing a dress, just any cute dress for spring or summer, definitely join. It will be fun. And I bought my fabric. I couldn't find this fabric, which I thought is adorable. So I bought this fabric, and it's called Jack's Sky, Jax, by Erin McMorris. I wanted it to kind of have a washi tape look to it. So it's kind of like an off-white with all of these different X's. Looks kind of like washi tape, right? So yeah, that's that. Now for my shop, I've made a few things. I've made some project bags, and I've dyed some yarn. So I will show you those. So these are drawstring bags, and they're reversible. This is the recipes one. And on the inside, there's like a baking theme to it. And then I've attached these little pull tabs. So they're a perfect size for a sock project. And there's a nice square bottom. So there's the recipes one. This one I offered in a larger bag the last time, and it's She's Gone Fishing with vintage flowers on the inside. This one is quite popular, and I kind of knew it would be. I'm dropping everything. Kitties playing with all kinds of yarny, crafty things. And then the inside is colorful dots. Here's a fox one. Fox is in love. And the inside is this. There's this one with those sheep on the inside. And then I have this Easter one. Super cute. And then some sparkly dots that reminded me of speckled eggs on the inside. And then this one's in the shop as well. One of my zipper styled ones. And then for yarn, in this most recent update, I offered minis for the first time, mini skeins, and I believe there are only 2 packs left, but they are, you'll get 5 10-gram mini skeins in different colorways of mine. Yeah. So those are the colorways for this time. And then I have Candy Crush, which is super fun. And that's in the Marion base, which is a high twist 2-ply MCN. I have Neapolitan in the same base. I have, this one needs to be rewound, but Sweet 16. This is a new colorway that I have on my 50% silk, 50% non-superwash merino, and it's called the Cecilia base. This is lavender sachet. I feel like the lights let's see, what else do I have? I have a skein of pixie dust. This is Pink Panther on my new Donegal base, which is a tweed. So there's pinks and grays with little specks of Donegal, tweed, and black and brown. This is the same Donegal base, and the colorway is Islands in the Stream, one of my favorite songs. So there's some green, blue, purple, pink, and browns. And then this is one more on the tweed base, and this is called Tiny Dancer. So it's just the tweed yarn with some splashes of purple and pink. Reminded me of a little ballerina or something. So that's it for the Adelaide Cottage shop update. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with me today. Be sure to subscribe if you like me, and you'll get notified. But I hope to podcast again next week, Monday, if not next week, Thursday. But I hope that you all enjoyed and that you have a wonderful, safe, happy, crafty, yarny rest of your week.